Hello, happy readathon. I'm starting a day late because yesterday was just like making some last touches and making the forms and behind stuff. But I'm starting today. I have a little live stream with you in a few hours, but I'm trying to let myself not do other stuff so I can actually start reading. My career this year is the Dream Walker, so I'm upping it up a little bit so we have a bit more to read, and then I also would like to get into the quests later on, but I'm gonna start with the career stuff just so I don't fail. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you likely have seen my TBR already, but just to remind you of options, so I can also remind myself, we have Cytonic, we have Hex, we have Squire? Yeah, I think so. The Stone Sky, and then the Anthropocene reviewed, and also Silver in the Wood, which is on Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy, but I don't know what to start with. I feel like this is an important decision currently, so I can get going. Should I maybe try Hex, because it's like shorter, so we can feel like we, are going, or should I start with this, like ease myself back into, nah, I don't want to start with this. Well, that's cleared up. I don't currently feel like reading Cytonic, so we can put that aside. I could start with this, but I really want to audiobook this as I do some like other stuff when I cannot physically read. Similarly, I think with this. So that does kind of only leave us with that or the Silver in the Wood. No, I'll start with this. So Hex is for friend recommendation, but what is the actual class? Conjuration. So let me find a little conjuration bookmark for this as well. Got it. Okay. Shall we get started officially? Yay. Okay, let's do it. The 5th of April, and I've done literally pretty much no reading. It was just readathon prep. I have some Patreon reading sprints because I really need to just like set time to like read. I keep seeing people post like, oh, finish a 4th book, and I'm like, good for you. I need to get on it. So I'm only like 20 pages into Hex. So far so good, but I really don't have many thoughts yet. Slightly creepy, which is nice. And I've started and Anthropocene reviewed, and I don't actually know how far I am. So I'll update you when I know a bit more. But that's also good. So both of the current reads seem promising. Logan has started reading this, which is pain, but amazing. Do you want to tell people how that went?
I cried at the second story.
He cried into our burgers. I could hear like a little slight sobbing in the kitchen. I thought, oh my god, what's wrong? And I go there and I just see him crying into a burgers while he was listening to the book. And it's I felt that though. I felt it. So you're safe to say you're liking it so far, yeah?
Yeah, very good.
Very good. Very
good, very nice.
gut punchy. Good morning. I have an update for you finally. So, just getting ready. We have today off. We're gonna go try and find some paint to do our kitchen differently a little bit. I wanted to update you on how it went and how it's going. It's really funny because my initial thoughts were that I was afraid of reading this one, Silver in the Woods, or in the Wood, I never remember, which I have on Kindle, because it just sounds and looks like it would be very lyrical and poetic. I want to say like 40% through of that, and really, really enjoying it. It's so nice, and it's definitely not written in a way that I thought it would be, which is great for me personally with my preferences. Then on the other hand, I had no such fears for this, and lo and behold, it's like a poem that's 100 pages long. And like 100 pages is not long, mind you, but it is for a poem, I'd say. This book is like depression. It really packs a punch. It's not a fun read by any means. It has great discourse, I think. It has very beautiful point to it. It's all about how women are seen and treated, and their role in society, and especially back when. The whole premise is that, or like, you are a person who's been accused of witchcraft and now are in like a holding cell in Edinburgh waiting to be hung, basically. And you have this other entity that travel through time to be with you to prepare, basically. it started off strong for me, and then it just had one of those things where I found that it had so many beautiful, very punchy sentences, and the point really came across really early, and it was hard to read. I would say absolutely look into the trigger warning, which I normally say, but I really highlighted for some books, and this is one of those books. It was heart-wrenching to read. However, because of the prose used, it was also very hard for me to get through because I just felt it's the same and the same and the same and nothing. I felt like for 100 pages it felt so prolonged, which is probably intentional. But because of the writing style, it was just too much for me. I lost interest and I felt bad because it's such a topic you should want to look away. But for a different reason. I wanted to look away because I was bored of the hyperbole and all of the kind of beautiful writing about what's happening in the sentence structure in itself. It was just not for me, which was a shame because I do really appreciate the topic, and it made me so angry for the right reasons. And there were definitely some sentences that I was like, yes, but ow, you know? I don't want to give too much away because it is a very short book. I do think this is gonna be beautiful, very well worth it if you maybe like writing style that's somewhat a little bit similar to This Is How You Lose the Time War, but it is a little bit easier to follow than that, and it's still very lyrical and very poetic. If you're into that and you don't mind the themes, this could be a beautiful read for you. For me, it scored 3 stars. I think it was 5-0 in on call file, so very much middle ground. And all of that was because of the themes, and everything that was low was because of intrigue, and writing style because of intrigue. Sorry, the other way around. And intrigue was low because of the writing style, and enjoyment was a bit low because of the writing style. So everything kind of evened out. Love the themes, don't love the execution for me personally. That being said, I did finish it, and now I have finished my conjuration prompt. I do also want to maybe print out the little bars and put it on the board there, so we might do that later for my progress so I can see it. Normally I would journal and stuff, but maybe I should journal. But time. But maybe. We'll see, but I want to track it somewhere so I can see it physically, and it would be more fun, I think, to get my sunscreen. Now, Silver in the Wood is a little bit ambiguous as to who or what exactly our main character is. So his name is Toby, I want to say. Silver is actually a person, and they are someone who brought the woods that this other person lives in, and the main character is almost like a local legend of this massive man that lives somewhere in the woods and is scary and just not sure what they are. Maybe they're a deity or something. And the writing is actually so nice and introduces the character so flawlessly, and it's so easy to get into because this is another one that's a very short book. And even though I am only 40% in, I'm fully in it. I'm very immersed. I think it's the right amount of atmospheric and easy to read and beautiful, and the characters are interesting. You don't get many side characters at all, and it's been a while since I've read a book where it's just well, actually it's not been a while. This is also just mainly 2 characters, but I think it's the right choice for short stories because you just don't have enough time to get introduced to many side characters, and I think the fact that we're focusing so solely on these 2 makes a lot of sense for the story. Something happens every summer there. There's another deity comes out into the woods and steals young men. So that's interesting. Silver as a character is adorable. They are there to study folklore and the tales, and Toby as a character you just want to protect, and you want nothing bad to happen to them ever. There's a cat as well that kind of talks to him. Overall, I'm just really enjoying it much more than I was enjoying this, which is such a surprising twist because I thought it would be the other way around. That just shows you that you just never know. But I'm gonna continue with that, but actually I'm gonna continue with my audiobook. I don't actually know where I am. I'm on chapter 5, but this is not chaptered in the way that it's normally chaptered. This one is my astronomy read. Silver will be alchemy. So in the middle of my alchemy read, and then I am at the start somewhere of my astronomy read. So I'm gonna continue with this. I'm not too far in. It's narrated by the author himself, so that's really nice. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It's right up my alley. It's just kind of musings about people and how we are and how we screw things up, and also how beautiful we are in our ways at the same time, and how we are the doom of Earth, but at the same time such a tiny speckle in Earth's history that it's insignificant, but to us obviously everything is significant. So it's beautiful. I'm gonna continue. I'm excited. And I'll get back to you when I have more of an update on that. Hello. So yesterday we went and got some paint, which we're gonna maybe try and do tomorrow or sometime this weekend, but we are painting this wall, that one of those purple shades, and then we are going to paint these bits this shade, but we actually need to order it because they don't have it in this store, which I'm kind of like skeptical about because it's only this and it's supposed to cover it, and it also says that it's one layer. So I'm very skeptical, but if we need to we'll buy more, but this is the shade we're going for. Doing a little makeover, and then we saw the D&D movie. I think Logan really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it maybe a bit less than I thought. I think my expectations were too high, but I was also like in a very high pain day yesterday, so I was just not having a good time overall. But do you have a bit of a reading update whilst we were hunting for the paint all over the town? With little success. I did get almost up to 100 page in my astronomy read, which is the Anthropocene Reviewed. I love the bits that the author is just kind of like jokingly introducing like everything is being reviewed now for like basically the algorithm and the computers, but how like unnatural it is to rate everything in like 5 stars. But he then goes on to these little essays and rates things. So some of them are, you know, there's like Haley's comment, Our Capacity for Wonder, but then there's also Dr. Pepper, Canada Geese, Velociraptors, Teddy Bears. I'm currently on Sunsets, and it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely a perfect read for just like wandering around and not doing anything to, like, it doesn't require a hell of a lot of focus, which is perfect. So I'm currently thoroughly enjoying it. It's not like so far like a 5-star thing, but I'm really enjoying it. We also dropped off the car to the dealerships for like the 15th time, and we'll need to like pick that back up soon, so I'm going to wait for that call. But before that call comes, I decided that I should go and do that thing I wanted on the board here, so I can track my progress a little bit better. So I've printed these and I'm going to make them into the ones that I need and put them on the board so I can kind of visually see what's happening with our shenanigans. So let's do that. Well, so this is how we're looking for these. You can actually see the progress, which I like. I ran out of my B pins, but it was a perfect amount because it's just for the quest. You can see that I don't have the book for Art of Illusion yet because I left that open, and you can see I'm like progress-wise on these. It just so happened that it's on one side. It's not on purpose, but I think this is gonna be cool to look at. Good morning. We have some unexpected changes. So first of all, I have finished Silver in the Wood, so I need to color in that, which is gonna be fun. But also, I'm changing Cytonic from Lore because I've also done my nails. Yay. Oh, this is supposed to be Mindwalkers. It's terrible, but I'm still gonna keep it just for the sake of it. But I'm changing it to We Were Liars, which is funny because it was originally in the plan, and then I swapped to all reading this because it was a mistake of including it. But now I'm reading it again because I've heard all great things about Cytonic, which is so sad because it's like a third in a series and I already read the first two, but I just don't want to risk slumping. And apparently this has a map, which is just not one of the books that I would think to even check for a map, but people say that it's a lot of fun regardless of how I'll feel about it later, and it does indeed have a map, so I need to swap to that as well. I've also read a bit more of this, so I'm like halfway through, and then I finished this. So this is how the progress board is currently looking, which is not too bad,
And
but
Momo
they
peed
are
on the rug.
short. And Momo did pee
Momo
on
peed
the
on the
rug.
rug.
But you didn't. You're a good boy.
I just need someone to help me see the light. But I could never have been ready for this. I think I should start by letting you in. Take a look at you and start to lose my balance. What am I falling into? This feels like something new. I've seen a lot of views, but they were nothing like this. The way you do what you do, I think you're something brand new. Everybody spends their life trying to keep on getting.
So, I started this while we were by the water, which seems very fitting. It's late now, so I'm gonna go to bed, but I wanted to update you because I am now, and I might read a little bit more in bed, but I'm on page 76 already. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I had no idea what this was about, but I didn't expect what we're getting. It's a little bit of a... It's interesting. There's also unexpected migraine rep, but it's about a girl that's like very privileged, but spends a lot of the summers with her relatives and one other guy that there's a romance with. Then she gets into an accident, but cannot remember what happened and why. I guess we're gonna try and figure that out, but it's all very weird, and I'm actually really enjoying the writing style, so just unexpected. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting more fluffy, less uneasy type of situation, and I'm liking the uneasy. Current situation.
Smug son is like, oh, I'm son, guys.
Give me an offering.
What you eating in here?
We do want to make a
Wait, Mom.
kind of a gallery wall here, so the sun may go somewhere else. I don't know, but I do like the sun here. Hello, it is Monday, so I'm gonna be wrapping up the vlog, but I wanted to actually update you on what I thought on the book. And a little bit unexpectedly read it in 2 days. I literally finished it yesterday, but I did sit and read like a long time. I'm not the fastest reader, so it takes me a little while to get even through like, you know, shortest of books, but the fact that I kept wanting to pick this up was actually really amazing and refreshing. It wasn't fatiguing me in any way. I just thought it was a very interesting read, but mostly I just want to say that I had no idea what I was getting into. For some reason, I think the cover, maybe I've heard it somewhere incorrectly, but for some reason I thought this was a book about like a summertime fling of really spoiled people, like rich kids, allied but trying to be quirky and a little bit mysterious. Maybe someone dies, and you know, one of those kind of books. And whilst to an extent true, they are very privileged kids, this is a summer related ordeal. It was completely different in tone than I just thought it would be, and it is hilarious that in the very first TBR video, when I originally thought this is going to be in my TBR and then removed it from my TBR, saying that this is the one that I don't think I would like, and so far it's my favorite of the ones that I've read. So I was completely wrong about this book. I did not know what I was getting into. I do know a lot of people do dislike this book, and I can see maybe why, but I'm still a little bit surprised because I really enjoyed it. It has this type of like unreliable narrator situation happening. You're going through something, you're trying to figure something out. It does have a lot of kind of cliche plot devices, so maybe that is why, but it honestly didn't bother me because I was just having a grand old time trying to figure out what's happening with her. Maybe it's the writing style, it is quite unique, it is quite poetic in structure, but not in the actual writing, because I don't like that, so you know I wouldn't be praising that for my personal taste, but I just thought it was such a weird little excursion, like such a weird little adventure we went on. The last thing I was expecting is some sort of migraine rep, which we got. So completely, I just did not expect it. I don't know what I was expecting. I thought it's gonna be a lot of like frivolous issues that people are gonna argue over, and like the summer and going to school and, you know, getting into universities and what. I just thought it's gonna be all that kind of thing. It turned out to be a much smaller part of what this was. And some of the parts, I will say, especially about like some thoughts when you're having a very bad attack for a migraine, really hit. And I was just not prepared. I just did not know this is gonna be even the theme. So that was an interesting surprise. And overall, it's just a big surprise. This is gonna be a very surprising read. I think it's because I just had a completely different idea of what this book is than what it turned out to be. I'm not gonna pretend that this is like a super deep read, like this still reads very easily. I don't know, I just really enjoyed this. So it came out as 4.5 stars, which is great for it. We love it. And I also ran Silver in the Wood by Copile, and I think I was really enjoying the first half of it. I know it's short. The second half of it was like okay, so I don't know how much I will remember it and how much of like a staying power it will have in me. That doesn't mean that it's a bad book at all. I still gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really nicely done. But no, yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a sweet little read. There's a lot of, if you're a fan of like going into the woods and trying to imagine things and escaping from reality for like a little bit, this would be a perfect read for you, because I think it's very easy to get into. It's very atmospheric. It's like very, very atmospheric, and it really brings you along for the ride and you feel invested, and there's not an overwhelming amount of plot, and it's not something that I found to be like unputdownable. Like this was much more, oh, I want to like continue reading, because there's an intrigue element of it, obviously. This one is a little bit more low-key, but I do think that it's very beautifully written. It's very cute of an idea. It has a grumpy and sunshine dynamic, so if you're into that, I think you would enjoy it as well. It didn't go into like, oh, my favorite ever, but I did still get 4 stars. So we've gotten 3 stars, 4 stars and 4.5 stars this week, and I am in the middle of the Anthropocene Reviewed. I'm going to continue with it today, whilst I no doubt start doing something I will regret, which is tackling my shelves. I'm a bit of a high pain day, but I just gotta carry on because every day is a high pain day recently, so we just gotta do it. I'm gonna get a little bit of that reading done as well, so I'm gonna show you how our progress board is looking, but I'm quite proud of the progress so far. It's only been, you know, the first full week, and I do know I started with the shortest one, so the progress might look a little bit deceiving in a sense that most of the books that I've read were, you know, much shorter than the other ones that I have remaining. Even this one was like 230 pages, so not necessarily the biggest. And I do have some much more chunkier and much more harder to read just in general books left, especially the Stone Sky. So we'll see how it goes. But I also have decided that I'm gonna be finally trying to read Pines for the night on the cover or in the title quest, the first quest prompt for the side quest, because I thought it would be fun to try and do that. Is it smart to do that before I finish all my necessary prompts? No, but here we are either way. This is how we're looking like for our progress. I'm probably a little bit more further along on this one, but overall we finished 3, and I can write down Pines here as well. But yeah, I think that's everything. Let me know how your first week went. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this, I will try and vlog next week as well. Let me know, and I'll see you in the comments. Bye!